AJ Styles and Edge at WrestleMania is definitely happening, but we will talk about it. Hey guys, welcome to DMK Wrestling with me, Darkman Kwako, or John Andrew, I should say. And this is my recap and honest thoughts on what happened on the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. I will do this every week with every WWE show, including NXT, which I will start to talk about from tomorrow. So do check it out. Now, a lot happened on this episode of Raw, so we're going to go through everything and talk about it. So this show started with Brock Lesnar coming out, after winning the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber. And before you get on the mic, ladies and gentlemen, here came Paul Heyman just to kind of run him down of sorts. And it is now knowledge that Brock Lesnar will defend the WWE Championship in Madison Square Garden on March the 5th. Now, they were talking about the fact that he will face Bobby Lashley, but should he not clear concussion protocol, he will go up with against another opponent. And they were talking about the whole 20-year history between both men and whatnot. And Brock Lesnar is really good on the stick. I can't believe we let him, WWE didn't let him talk for so long, but due to the character, it did make sense. However, the Bobby Lashley thing, I don't know why they're still pushing it. I guess they're trying to protect him, because if you have heard by now, he did suffer a shoulder injury at the Royal Rumble. That's why they didn't do so much with him on Raw in the few weeks leading up to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Also why they created that spot so that he wasn't pinned in the chamber match. I guess it kind of leaves it leaves possibility for Lashley and Brock to go at it again, possibly at the SummerSlam, because we know that he is going to Birmingham, Alabama this week if he hasn't gone already, and he should be out for at least 4 months, so he might miss WrestleMania, which is just, it's unfortunate. Bobby Lashley has put in the work over the last number of years since he's been back within WWE. But yeah, so bottom line, Brock Lesnar will be defending the WWE Championship in a live event, I guess, on the 5th of March, which is, I believe it's next week, but we'll see how that goes. And then we cut the back and we saw Seth Rollins with Kevin Owens having a conversation about the Elimination Chamber and what went down. And just when Seth was getting into it, he was cut off by Kevin Patrick, who he seemed to be a little annoyed by. And they were talking about the fact that they were given an opportunity to face RK Bro in the main event of the night, and should they win, they will be added to the Raw Tag Team Championship match in 2 weeks on Monday Night Raw against the Alpha Academy, effectively making that match a triple threat match. If you remember, RK Bro won the academic challenge, I think it was last week, or no, the week before that. So this was weird because I actually saw the news break on Twitter, and it was, it's what it says. WWE will do what they want to do, but the wording and everything made it seem as though it wasn't, they hadn't announced anything. This was the first time you were hearing of it, but of course, if you don't use Twitter, that would make sense. But they announced it on Twitter beforehand, so it was like, oh, okay, I don't know why. And I really don't know if plans have changed, especially since we've heard rumors of a Stone Cold return to face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Maybe they're ditching that storyline. We don't know, but I guess we'll see how things play out, I guess. So after that, we had the Alpha Academy and the Street Profits going up against each other again. I believe this is a rematch from about 2 weeks ago. And in fact, I enjoyed it. It was much of the same from the previous match they had, which was really great. You should go check that match out if you can. But this match, it was okay. I really appreciated it. Particular spot in the match, there was this one spot where Montez Ford grabs Otis and is like holding him in a World's Strongest Slam position, and the whole crowd was just into it. But of course, the weight distribution and whatnot, so Montez caved in and it allowed Otis to pin him. Of course, Chad Gable held Montez's boot from outside so he couldn't kick out. Either way, this was a fun and enjoyable match, and I guess we will see more of the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. They work so well together, although this does also highlight another concern, which is that Raw doesn't have too many tag teams. Generally in WWE, there are not too many tag teams for like champions to face. You know, it's a bit stagnated on the SmackDown side. You know, we were supposed to have the match with the Viking Raiders at Elimination Chamber, and then they got jumped like street style, you know. But there's just not that many contenders for these championships, so WWE might need to invest more time in that. But moving away from that, we then see Tommaso Ciampa in the back getting ready for a match, and he had chosen a partner, and it turned out to be a returning Finn Balor. They were going up against the Dirty Dogs, and this was fun. Now it's fun. Jimmy Smith on commentary said that this was Ciampa's first match on Raw. Point of correction, that is not the case. Back in, I believe, 2019, he and Johnny Gargano came up to Raw along with, I believe, Ricochet and Aleister Black to get into this multi-man tag team match. So it wasn't the first time. Either way, this match was fine. It's great to see Finn Balor back on Raw. Of course, he had traveled outside the US for a while, but then there was some speculation, or there was talk of the fact that Vince McMahon wasn't high on him anymore. He's a world-class talent, of course, so it didn't make sense that he didn't look at him, or regard him as a championship caliber person of sorts. So it really did, it put something to perspective, definitely. But yeah, it was fun. The match they had, definitely a way to establish Ciampa on Raw. Of course, he has his stuff with Dolph Ziggler going on NXT. So that was very, very interesting to see. Now, after that, we had a Miz TV segment, and Miz had been teasing that he was going to make a phone call starting at Elimination Chamber. He was going to make a phone call so that he could take on the Mysterios later on. And he did want to face the Mysterios at WrestleMania, and he made some subtle teases, particularly of one Cody Rhodes. He actually said dashing Cody Rhodes, of course. If you are familiar with everything that's going on, you will know that Cody Rhodes and his wife Brandy have left AEW effective, I think, the start of last week. And then there was even talk of the fact that he was on his way to Saudi Arabia last week because he was spotted in a Polish airport, but we don't know if that picture was taken as in the duration of that picture. Regardless of anything, it was interesting to see that Logan Paul would come out to be the tag team partner of The Miz for their match against the Mysterios at WrestleMania. And Logan Paul has new music again. I kind of liked his old iteration music, but yeah, he has new music. He brought out the drink he and KSI have been working on for a while that they're partnered on to produce. So that's pretty cool. Cheap plug right there. But yeah, they then attacked Rey and Dominic, and it was fun because Miz attacked Dominic, and then Miz attacked Dominic, and then Rey got attacked by Logan. And I would have thought that, okay, maybe you let the veteran attack the veteran, you let the if you go what I mean, Miz should attack Rey and Logan should attack Dom. That would have made some sense. But either way, it worked well. Logan Paul is an athlete, and he even gave Dom a skull-crushing finale at the end. Now, this was kind of funny because there was one part where Logan Paul is so close to Dom that Dom, who was seemingly recovering, could have attacked Logan, but he didn't. He just kind of slumped back down into the turnbuckle, the bottom turnbuckle, and then that allowed Logan Paul to just pick him up and give him a skull-crushing finale, which was done away from the hard camera. So I guess it was safe. Of course, you don't want it to look like a rookie, move, because he's not a wrestler. Or he's not a professional wrestler, sports entertainer. Well, technically Logan Paul would pass for a sports entertainer because boxing is entertainment and he competes in that. So, it was a fine segment. I have no problems with that. After that, we had an interview with the Alpha Academy, and I don't quite remember a lot of what was said. I started to doze off a little. It's kind of hard on this side of the world to keep up with, wrestling at 1 a.m. and all that, but it then led to Rhea Ripley coming out, and this is why I kind of dozed off. But apparently WWE ran another VA package, so VA Mahan is still coming to Raw if he is sticking by his name, if his name really means what it was or it is. VA has veered, of course, so many times, you know. But the interesting thing to note as well is that these promotional packages for him have gotten increasingly expensive, especially in the last few weeks. Like, there's always a different lighting setup, there's something going on, different camera angle. So this is quite interesting. He does appear on main event though, which is it's interesting, and he has gotten a graphics overhaul as well, because I saw one version of his main event graphics, then I saw another version just yesterday. So I mean, who knows? I don't know where they're going with this. If it's a gag they're running, I hope not, but we will see. We'll see with VA. But anyway, they cut back and she had a smirk on her face, which was like, yeah, she's in on it. So that's pretty interesting. But she was facing Nikki Ash for the 75 billion time, and I honestly have to go and watch that match again, because I dozed off somewhere in the middle. But by the time I opened my eyes, oh hey, Rhea Ripley was getting a hand raise, so that was fine. But I guess I just want this to be done. You know, it's just they faced off so many times. Of course, the multi-woman tag team match, one-on-one elimination chamber, but then you do the match again, you know. And I'll talk about this later, but WWE can be so repetitive. It's like they don't keep track of these things. They really should do more, in my personal opinion. But after that, we had this promo package that's been running around since Friday, of the Undertaker's WWE Hall of Fame induction, upcoming induction. And this was fun to see. I mean, this is probably one of the best, the most well-produced Hall of Fame promotional packages I have ever seen for anybody. And Taker deserves it. Now, Bully Ray has expressed the sentiments of so many fans, myself included, on social media, on Twitter. He did say that Undertaker deserves to be the only inductee of this year's Hall of Fame, and I totally agree. Taker has done so much for the business in 30 years. You know, we haven't seen him since Survivor Series 2020. Of course, if you factor out the Pitbull concert he did in Saudi Arabia before Super Showdown, and he recently appeared at the Bad Bunny concert, so that was also very interesting. But either way, Taker deserves to be the only inductee into this year's Hall of Fame. And Undertaker is by far my favorite wrestler of all time. He was the first wrestler I ever saw when I first really had the chance to watch wrestling at the age of 9 years old. So I would love to see, him be the only inductee this year. But away from that, we then had a match between Damien Priest and Shelton Benjamin. And this was fine, although I have a couple of things I should mention here. So first thing, Shelton Benjamin got his old theme music back, which I'm not really a fan of, I'll be honest. It's so generic. It wasn't Death Rebel that created it, was CFOs that created it before they left WWE. I prefer, when you think of Shelton Benjamin, instantly you think of Ain't No Stopping Me, either version of what he used. But that was so iconic to his character as the gold standard, They didn't come out with the Heads Business theme song, even though the graphics were on the Megatron. I guess it's a Megatron because it's no longer a Titantron and a Minitron, it's now a Megatron. But yes, I would have appreciated seeing, I want his old theme music back, but of course there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that we possibly wouldn't have no knowledge of, so I guess that's fine. Either way, Damien Priest finished him off in a few minutes, and that was that. But then Damien Priest issued an open challenge for his US championship and was like, who would fight him? And then out came Finn Balor. So it looks like they're doing a match next week. They are doing a match next week for the United States Championship. This was confirmed at the very end of the show. But I have some thoughts on Damien Priest. This, character switch, this new gimmick that he was given is not working as well. There were audible boos, especially when he was cutting his promo. The promo was quite awkward. I'll be honest about that, and it was just so strange. The character does not resonate with me as well. I mean, I get to sure, everyone has their good side and their bad side, but it's just not, it's so far off from the Archer of Infamy character. It's not clicking, and if they turn him heel, it might work, but it might end up being go away heat. That's my fear. Damien Priest is a very talented wrestler. He's one of my favorites, but this character and him, I think they should have pulled up. I don't know whose idea it was. It just didn't. If it was Damien's, well, that's a different story. If he's having fun with it, but it's just not working as well as I guess fans wanted to. Even it's not working well for me. So I don't know where that will go. But next week, Finn Balor, Damien Priest. Let's move away from that. Now, there was some 24/7 shenanigans. We had a rerun of what happened last week, which was so funny. Reggie came out. This is so funny. So it makes me laugh so much. So Reggie comes out. He's like, something has been weighing down his mind, or it's been weighing on his mind. So he invited Dana Brooke to come out. She comes out looking dejected, and he's like, he's been thinking about last week. Reggie laid down, allows Dana to pin him, and at the count of 2, he kicks out. He's like, okay, I'm sorry, let's go again. 1, 2, kicks out again. So it's like looking at like a joke, like, okay, so what's the point for calling me out? And then 1, 2, and then Dana Brooke kisses Reggie, effectively rendering him powerless, and that led to 3. Dana Brooke has reclaimed her title back after a week. Of course, this was so funny. This was so funny. After that, R-Truth, Tamina, and Akira Tozawa came out. Of course, Dana Brooke and Reggie fought them off and ran away. But it created this very, very funny segment or spot where Tozawa fell into Tamina's arms, and then he was opting for a kiss, and Tamina just dropped him on his tailbone like, I don't want problems, you know. So it was quite funny to see that, you know, at least that they included a story. That's one thing that the 24/7 title has lacked over the years, and I was impressed. I was very impressed. It was funny because Reggie had like half of his face was covered in Dana Brooke's makeup or powder. So funny. So funny. I enjoyed it. But moving away from that, Bianca Belair came out to cut a promo concerning her upcoming match with Becky Lynch at this year's WrestleMania, which I'm so happy about. I'm glad that the Ronda Rousey plans didn't interfere in any way, even though, yes, we won't see Becky and Ronda go at it, but I loved it. But anyway, you know, Bianca cut this really great promo and, you know, was talking a lot, and then when she was done, Becky Lynch came out. Now, this is going to be hard because it's not really an interruption, because technically Bianca was done talking, but Becky came out and they spoke and all of that. And then she was talking about the 26-second thing from SummerSlam, and it's been 6 months already, and I was thinking that in my mind, and then just on the spot, Becky mentioned that, oh, happy anniversary, by the way, it's been 6 months since I beat you in 26 seconds. Obviously, this is going to be a very, very different story. Now, in the course of things, before Becky even came out, Bianca did mention that she was going to face Doudrop a little later, which was like in the next match. And I audibly went like, what? We're doing this match again? Of course, like the chemistry is good between Doudrop and Bianca, but goodness me, I grew tired and I was like, what? Why are we doing this again? It's like rematch central. WWE has become rematch central. But that's what happens when you got like half of your roster in like 2 years. But you know, let's don't talk about that. Anyway, so where was I? So yes, Becky and Bianca are going back and forth at it. Doudrop comes out, you know, Doudrop, and Doudrop's theme music, man. I think it should be like, it just doesn't. No, it's so bad. I'm sorry. Doudrop's a great performer. She doesn't deserve that theme music. It's just not, you know. It's not working well. Regardless of anything, Bianca and Doudrop faced off. Great match, like I said, great chemistry between these two women. Becky was our commentary, of course. Now, there were 3 defining spots towards the end that made the match. First of all, Bianca kind of did a snap suplex on Doudrop, which was crazy to look. It was a crazy visual. Then she did something else. I think she might have pressed Doudrop or something. It's so fuzzy in my mind now because I've slept over it a bit, but she does something to Doudrop and then she hits the KOD. Or, you know, it was crazy. It was a crazy sight to see. I could not believe my. Oh yeah, I remember. she power bombs Doudrop from the corner. She power bomb, like she literally walks like halfway the distance of the ring, plants it. Doudrop has to protect her neck because, you know, big girl coming down, and protection is obviously the key with wrestling. But after that, Bianca executes the KOD, which was so excruciating. Her back must be in pain, her core must be in pain right now. But Bianca truly is the strongest. Becky Lynch was infuriated by this, stands on the announce table as Bianca is celebrating. So yes, this should be a very compelling match for WrestleMania, and I can't wait for it. But away from that, Edge then came out to cut a promo, and I love Edge's promo styles now, you know, single chair in the middle of the ring, spotlight on him, reminiscing of all the times of his career so far. I can't believe Edge is a 48-year-old man, you know, and performing at a high level, and his promos and everything, they look so good. Either way, here's the thing. He dropped an AJ Styles reference. He was like, he said something along the lines of WrestleMania will allow me to be phenomenal. And then he gives a wink at the camera. He's like, oh boy, we know where this is going. So practically, Edge has issued an open challenge to the WWE locker room for anyone to step up and face him at WrestleMania. So effectively, it's kind of made him the new Undertaker because, of course, he's a legend, you know, and you know, beating Edge or facing Edge at WrestleMania would cement your legacy. So he made that statement, and yes, I do expect in the next few weeks that we get some sort of build between AJ and Edge. Everyone is clamoring for this match. Everyone is clamoring for this match. This is a match everybody wants to see, and there's a lot of precedence for it as well, because in Undertaker's Last Ride documentary, Edge actually stated the fact that if he is looking at the WWE roster and looking for someone to have his last match with, he would pick AJ Styles. He says that, I think, in episode 4 or episode 5 of the show. You should go check it out either way. I think The Last Ride, one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, you know, not just wrestling wise, like generally I've ever seen. Either way, looks like it's going to happen. Got some confirmation of some sort. Unless they want to do Edge versus Cody Rhodes, which, well, I wouldn't be opposed to it either, but the money match really would be Edge versus AJ. We really need to see that. But then this led to our main event between RK Bro and Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. Great match as always. You know, a few things that have come to light. Number one, so the table spot, Randy Orton does this table spot now where, you know, if you know it, like it's like a back body drop to the table spot. And yeah, it's become very synonymous, that move as well as the draping DDT with the ropes and all that. Either way, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins have this great chemistry, you know. There was one part of the match, I think Seth got Riddle with a move. KO hit the stunner, and then that weakened Riddle enough for the stomp to be hit. So it was like a great tag team move effectively. These two men work really well, and these four men work well. But yeah, we are getting a tag team match between Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins going up against RK Bro, going up against the Alpha Academy. And this was funny, something funny I noticed in the course of the night. So when the match started, the Alpha Academy, Otis and Chad Gable, were at the back. They were at one part of the back. And then at the end of the match, they were in Gorilla. You know, Gorilla is where, you know, they stand before they come out, where Vince usually has his monitors and all that stuff. So they were there. And I was like, wait, why did they switch so bad? And they were in their gear. So probably planned spot, probably anticipation to ruin the match in some capacity. But it didn't really matter, you know. At the end, I believe there's going to be a good match. But yeah, this ended this episode of Raw. I was impressed with the quality of the matches. You know, the stories. I don't know. The Damien Priest thing bothers me a bit. I want to see if there's anything for Alexa Bliss down the road. I want to see a build to Edge and AJ Styles. And I want to see where this Brock Lesnar thing goes, because he has teased on Friday he will be on SmackDown. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, that was all for this episode of Raw. Thanks so much for watching this video. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.